Republican Kari Lake on Monday continued her hard push to defeat Democrat Katie Hobbs in the Arizona gubernatorial race. Lake, a former local news anchor turned hardline conservative candidate, stuck to her stump speech, assailing Hobbs, blasting President Biden, and slamming Democratic policies. Lake is currently edging Hobbs in the polls by single digits. She is considered a potential vice presidential selection on the 2024 Republican presidential ticket, should she prevail over Hobbs. A Trump-backed, unflinching right-winger, many liberal pundits and politicians are desperate to stop Lake from becoming Arizona's chief executive. They claim Lake holding power would threaten the democratic process in Arizona in future elections.
When I first got into this 524 days ago, but I'm not counting, I swear, my staff just told me it's been that long, I said, we got to secure that border. And somebody who was a political type said, yeah, don't talk about that. That might offend people. I said, you know what? I'm offended that our border is wide open. Drugs are pouring across, killing our young people. I'm offended by that. And I'm tired of having the left tell us what we can and can't talk about. Last I heard, we still have a First Amendment. It might be hanging by a thread, but it's still there, and I'm going to use it. How about you? We can't tell this, or we can tell this media, this fake news media, that we don't care what they say about us. No one's watching them. I got a hold of the ratings the other day of our Arizona news stations. They have the ability to reach about 7 million people. Think about it. That's what their ability to reach. And they're getting between 1,000 and 2,000 viewers. I mean, that's comical. It's comical because they don't believe you anymore. And I've had tweets that have had more audience than that. So we don't need to worry what they say about us. We don't need to worry if they take away our Facebook page or our Twitter page. Let's just think about what our founding fathers lost. When those 56 men signed that Declaration of Independence, they signed their death warrant. They knew that by signing their name, that they could very well end up dead. And some of them did. But thank God they had the courage to do the right thing at that pivotal moment in history. Are you ready to do the right thing tomorrow at a pivotal moment in history and show up and vote? Are you ready to vote tomorrow? That's all we need. We got to overwhelm the polls. We got to overwhelm the polls. And that means you might have to wait in line because they might not expect the red wave that's coming. They might expect 100 people, and they show up and there's 1,000. So that means you have to have food, and you got to have food and a little bit of water and comfortable shoes tomorrow. Are you okay with that? And just talk to the people in line. Maybe you can convince somebody in line, who knows? Maybe you can talk them into voting the right way, the Republican way, right? Because it's going to take every single one of us on the Republican ticket to turn this state around. It's going to take Abe Hamadeh. If you want a secure border, I got to have Abe fighting alongside me. He's going to fight. If you're tired of your kids being brainwashed at school, of your precious boys being told they can be girls, and your girls being told they can have surgery and change into boys, we got to have Tom Horn protecting our students. Are you ready to vote for Tom Horn? And I have to have Mark Fincham, guys, Secretary of State. He's going to replace Katie Hobbs, okay? She's only shown up for work 19 days out of the last 6 months. 19 days in the last 6 months, and she's had the Secretary of State's office closed down for 2 years due to COVID. Come on, get your butt back to work, Katie. Actually, let me rethink that. Maybe you shouldn't go to work, Katie. We're probably better off if she doesn't. I saw her 2 days ago. She put out on Twitter, she was ziplining. And I'm like, I don't even have time to eat. We're so busy. We're going from event to event to event. She's ziplining. The next picture, she was eating ice cream. I said, this woman is pulling a page from Joe Biden's playbook. But we're not going to let them take this from us because we're going to overwhelm them with legal votes that they're going to have to count tomorrow. So many legal votes out there, and then we're going to start turning things around. So we got to get Mark Fincham in there. Mark Fincham is a former cop. He's running against a lawyer for the Mexican cartels. That's what Adrian Fontes is. We cannot elect Adrian Fontes. Mark Fincham all the way, guys. All the way. And Kimberly Yee as state treasurer. She's done a great job. She will continue to do a great job. We need her in there running the books for Arizona. We got to vote Republican up and down that ticket like our lives depend on it, because they do. I'll tell you, they are so desperate. Did you see this week that they brought in what they call the big guns? Barack Obama came out. And the crowd, I'll tell you, the crowd was like a sliver of what we have tonight. That guy is so diminished. That's so diminished. And he sat there and he badmouthed me. And I thought, wow, I'm actually living rent-free in his mind. That's actually kind of funny. And they had nothing to criticize us on, because guess what? We have common sense policies to the problems we've been facing. What can they criticize? We want a secure border. How do you criticize that? We don't want fentanyl getting in our children's hands. How do you criticize that? We want to make sure our kids are getting a good education so they're ready for the jobs that are out there. I think Democrats want that, right? We want to make sure we solve our water crisis. Last I heard, Democrats drink water too, right? So his criticism was, she's telegenic, she's well lit, she's well spoken. And I thought, is he actually trying to do an ad for me, or is he criticizing me? And then the next day it got even crazier. Katie Hobbs brought in one person that I don't think any one of us would even stand next to or be caught dead with. Eric Holder. You remember what he did. He was behind that Fast and Furious drug running scheme that killed one of our brave Border Patrol agents, Brian Terry. She had the gall to stand on stage and think that that guy was worth standing next to. It's appalling. It is appalling. And I'm not afraid of any of those people. Once you've passed through fear and you're on the other side, nothing scares you. How many of you feel fearless tonight? But then the next day, I had a tinge of fear when I saw Hillary Clinton talking about me. I am fearless. And at first I chuckled. I said, oh my gosh, Hillary Clinton is actually talking about me? That's funny. And then I got to thinking, maybe that's not funny. Oh my gosh, help. And I just want you all to know I'm in perfect health. We've recently had our automobile serviced, and the tires are good, and the brakes are in good order, and I am not suicidal. Please, everybody, you have to know that. You have to know that. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Well, I'm actually not, but I am. So, guys, 524 days. This is our last rally. Actually, no, it's our second. We're doing one more rally tonight. We're going to Scottsdale and doing one more rally and then get people in Maricopa County fired up. This is our second to last rally, and this is such a special rally. There's so much history here in Prescott. It is the most patriotic city in all of Arizona, right? So many veterans, law enforcement, people who love this country, people who look at this flag and they say, oh man, I love Arizona. People who look at this, where's the American flag? This flag, and they say, oh man, we love this country. So many of you fought for this country. And I want you to know you did not fight for this country in vain. We are going to take it back from the brink starting tomorrow. So who's ready to get out and vote tomorrow? Who's ready to call 5 friends and make sure they're voting tomorrow? And how many of you have 10 friends you can call? Okay, not all right. Settle for 5, that's fine. But we do have to show up. If you have an earache, you have to show up. If you have a migraine, you have to show up. If you got a blister on your foot, you got to show up. No excuses tomorrow. Our country depends on it. Our lives depend on it. Our children depend on it. And I know I can count on Prescott. I know I can. Go get it done. We are. Before I go, I want a couple of surprises here. First of all, we're not watching the fake news anymore, right? I'll tell you who I listen to a lot. He's become a friend. He's been with us since the beginning. Is War Room Steve Bannon. Welcome him to the stage, please.